I was just thinking so many teens, I'll just say that in general, probably think that what they're doing is, well, I'm going to skip breakfast. And they probably think, well, you know, it's not going to hurt me. I'll need to lose some weight anyway, or I want to lose some weight. Maybe they don't need to, but they feel like they want to. But from what I'm hearing, that actually will probably do the opposite, because their metabolism doesn't really kick in until they eat something. Does that make sense, or am I correct in that?
You're correct, yeah. You almost have to build your metabolism just like you build your body in the gym. If you skip calories, your metabolism slows down and goes into starvation mode. Your bodies are set up for survival, and when the calories are absent, what happens is your metabolism slows down, you store body fat, and you lose lean mass. So actually, by eating more frequently, you can find you can actually get healthier and leaner, rather than eating less frequently, like an American 3 standard meals a day. Is actually, we want to do the opposite and turn that upside down and graze throughout the day and eat more frequently. And actually, you won't have to exercise as much then, because your metabolism will be running at a higher rate.
And then I'm just wondering, you know, we talk about and we hear, as far as adults, you really shouldn't eat late at night, or maybe shouldn't eat certain things late at night. Is that true, and does that apply to young people? And I'll just jump in with you, Mike.
I actually think you can eat late at night. It depends on what you eat. You got to be picky about your food choices. I don't think it's proper to eat a lot of sugar or a huge amount of carbohydrates before you go to bed, because you know you're going to go to sleep and your body is actually downturning its metabolism, getting ready for rest. So I mean, the sugars and the carbohydrates are going to get stored. An example of something like good to eat would be like a lean protein or a vegetable, something of that source, because your body actually rebuilds when it's sleeping. So in other words, can you eat it? Should you eat late at night? I believe you should eat late at night. If you're trying to lose a lot of weight and you know you're dieting or some sort, it actually does help to actually cut that meal out late at night sometimes to lose those extra pounds. But for a long period of time, your metabolism will start to slow down, and it will be hard for your body to recover its tissues when you're sleeping for, I recommend, at least 8 hours if you don't eat, you know, in the PM.
Okay. The frozen coffees, McDonald's has a new billboard out here on 422, and it looks good. All the frozen coffees, all of, you know, just coffees in general, sodas, caffeine. Is caffeine okay? Is caffeine not okay? Mike, we can start with you, and you can share with us.
Caffeine, when you start to look at caffeine, you gotta kind of understand what caffeine is. It's actually a natural stimulant found in plants. I think there's almost 60 plants that caffeine is found in. But the most caffeine that you'll find in specific plants is we all know, the cocoa bean and tea leaves. When you look at your espresso, I think there's up to almost 400 milligrams of caffeine in espresso. Now that can cause a real high energy buzz and then a real crash and burn. So I think you have to really look at how much caffeine you're using. I mean, if you overdo it with caffeine, yeah, it's going to have negative effects. It can dehydrate you. It can, you know, pull calcium from your bones. It can interfere with your circadian rhythm. That's the rhythm of your body with sleep. Caffeine can, you know, cause muscle cramps, twitches, increase your blood pressure, increase your heart rate, and things like that. But when you look at studies when teenagers they were given chocolate before a test, okay, their test scores actually rose. We looked at this study in high school when they were given dark chocolate before they took a test, as opposed to when they weren't given something like that. So small amounts of caffeine and like chocolate and green tea and things of that nature are shown in studies actually to be good for you. But when you're taking too much caffeine, like in the drinks that you see, the popular Red Bull, or a couple espressos, then it's going to cause a roller coaster effect, and you're going to crash and burn.
One of the popular questions about exercise is, as a teenager, at what age is it okay to start lifting weights? Seriously, I'm not just talking about the treadmill, I'm not just talking about the elliptical and pulling out the 5-pound weights, but I'm talking about getting on the bench press, doing squats, all these kinds of things. And Mike will stay with you. And Mike is a natural bodybuilder and actually has a website. Was it natural?
Train Naturally.
TrainNaturally.com. TrainNaturally.com, and that'll be up here on the screen a little bit later. But Mike, what age is appropriate? Is it okay? Is it safe to start really bodybuilding?
Start bodybuilding, I think you have to be in your late teens, like 15. To start like weight training, now that goes co-inherits with teenagers shouldn't do any 1 rep maxes, heavy lifting, especially when it's a spine loading exercise. I think the age of 12 is okay when they start to do resistance training with light weights and high reps. You can start actually movement pattern teaching at either a younger age. I looked at a book for the NSCA at age 6, as young as that, teaching them movement patterns with body weight and things of that nature. But the 1 rep maxes, shouldn't be done, because the main issue with the heavy lifting is you have on your long bones you have an epiphyseal plate. It's kind of called a growth plate. I'm sure the doctors are familiar with that. And when you do the heavy lifting, you can damage the growth plate and actually stunt your growth at certain parts of your body. So the heavy lifting is out. I'd say between 12 and 15 is a good time.